Hello everyone and welcome to 2025 Pre-Cal Online. My name's Terry Barnes and I'll be the one with you during this journey. I wanted to take this opportunity in a short video to show you what the course looks like, how I expect you to work through it, and what your available resources are. So if you've worked in Pearson before, it should look somewhat familiar. If not, hopefully you will catch on pretty quickly. So first of all, if you have just logged in, if you watched the video before you did this, then you want to be sure and do click here because that's going to tell you how to log on. But hopefully you've already gotten to that step and this is just more information. So let's first look at what's in the content, which is over here. Here's where your announcements are. There'll be an announcement at least every week and sometimes more frequently. But let's look here and see about some of these things that are important. The instructor plan or your syllabus, we'll just go through a few things in here. I do have my office hours, and I am in the office Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the bulk of the office hours are right here, 12 to 3 on Tuesday afternoons. I'm in the office 7 to 8, both Tuesday and Thursday, and then certainly Zoom by request. My office number and phone number are here as well. So you do not have to buy a text. It is included with your tuition, so you don't have to worry about that. You do need a graphing calculator. And so I teach with a TI 83, 84. If you have something else that you use that works and you can manipulate it, then that's fine. But if not, I would suggest using this one. And then if we come down here, just be sure that you read this whole thing about attendance. It's just, it is the policy for MCC that you cannot miss more than 25% of the work in an online course. And for my course, I check attendance on Sundays for the previous week. If you did nothing in the course, you didn't open and work on a homework, you didn't try a test, anything. If you did nothing, then you get an absence for that week. You can have 4 of those absences, 4 weeks out of 16 before anything happens. On the 5th absence, you could be dropped for attendance issues. It's really easy to avoid that. Just work on something every week. All right, so that's that. Here's a general calendar, but I have a more detailed one with due dates that we'll go over in a minute. This is about grading. My course is divided into homework, tests, and final exam. The homework is 30% of your total average. Tests are 50% of your average. And final exam, which is cumulative, is 20%. You can do the homework over and over again till you get it right. For a question that comes up, you have 3 shots at it before it will generate a new one. But you can keep working on the homework till the homework is due, and then it will close. The tests, there are no makeup tests or retests, but you get to take each test twice, and the higher of those counts in your final average. Before each test is available, you must have passed all the homework. So for the first chapter that we cover, chapter 4, you have to get at least a 70 on every section in there or the test won't open for you. So keep that in mind. Let's see if there's anything else. We've talked about the attendance, and I have that right here for you again. So that's the syllabus. In a nutshell, you should read through those other things, but that's the gist of that. So let's go back here. Certainly you can read through those. Let's go to the calendar that does have the due dates. So it looks very similar to the one that's in the syllabus, but it shows the times. So it's really divided into 2 chunks. So chapter 4 and chapter 5 are really a review of algebra. And so that all of that material through exam 5 is available first day of class. And the homework for those is due September 28th. And the tests for that are due by October 4th. Now, certainly you could work a little bit ahead, but that is when those will close. So that's the review portion that's really college algebra material almost. Then from the week 7 to 15, you get the other material. That's the trig, the polar, conics, and sequences and series. All of that material will be available September 29th and due November 30th, okay? And the tests are open and they're due November 30th. The final exam will open on the 30th and be due December 10th. So really two big chunks. You have something that's going to end on October 4th. That's all of this here. Then the rest of the course opens the 29th, and you have till November 30th. And then the final exam will open on the 30th, and you'll have till the 10th to get that done. So that's how that's set up. I would print that, maybe keep that. Now the due dates show up on the homework and on the test area, but this is a printout that might be worthwhile to have handy. All right, so my contact info is here. You can click that and have my office number and all of that information that was in the syllabus. Calculator help, if you need anything there. There's some, let's look in here. So there's some apps that you could purchase if you do not have a handheld calculator. There are some good apps for both Android and Apple, and you could look there. There's some worksheets and videos that are just for help. So that's all just stuff, but most people that get to pre-cal, they've already gotten that, so maybe that won't be something you need. Then there's handouts. Let me click there. This is a whole packet of information on algebra, hyperbola, ellipse, parabola. That's chapter 10. Those are the conics. And there's a big trig handout. I would definitely, when we get to trig, I would print that and have that. There's a graphing sheet. So there's lots of stuff here that are resources for you. So check those out. The boom card activity won't be showing on yours. In fact, some of this up here will not show for you. My link won't show for you, and some of these will not. There's a final exam review. We'll talk about that as we get closer to that. So let's go back to this. Problems, lecture notes, and videos. If we click here, I have this set up as if this is what we would do in class. We would go over problem sets, and there's lecture notes if you wanted to just have those, or you could write your own, but this is here, and then there's a video of me working things. So let's kind of look at the first one. So chapter 4, 4.1, and we're going to go in, and this is a worksheet to get you ready for the homework. So it's blank, and we'll go down here, and there are, let's see how many. Some of these have quite a few, but again, this is review. But that one has about 17 questions in it. So if you printed that, then let's go back and look at the lecture notes on that. All right, so we found that blank sheet there. Then we go to lecture notes. Go to chapter 4, again 4.1, and so these are notes that if you were in class, you would be getting these notes. You'd be maybe copying some of this down. We'd go through this, and eventually we get down. Okay, so here's that blank problem set, but the answers, and this one was on the calculator, so there's some screenshots. And then, like I said, the answers are here. the work for that, and some people will be fine just going through that. And we go on down here to 17. But let's say you didn't get that. Let's look at the video area. So we'll come down here, and there's my YouTube channel for pre-cal, and so here's the chapter 4 playlist, and if you go there, section 4.1 has a video, and I'm going to go through each of those problems and talking and showing the work, talking through the work. So there's a video that's going to get you through that. All right, so the goal would be to maybe print the problem set or print the lecture notes, watch the video as much as you need to, and then you're ready to do your homework. So let's now go to, this is where you'll click to do your homework, Student MML Homework, and we'll go in, and you can see that Chapter 5 Homework and Chapter 4 and 5 Tests, all of that is available right now. That other part, remember, it doesn't show up until the 29th. So you've got this much to get done by September 29th, and then the tests are October 4th. So they are clickable links. This tells you the due date. On the tests, it tells you you have 2 hours and you have 2 tries. On Chapter 5, a little bit longer, you've got 2.5 hours and 2 tries. The flags remind you that you have to have passed each section in the homework or it won't open. So let's look at 4.1 just to get an idea. So remember, there were 17 in that problem set. There's 17 here. They don't always match exactly, and the further you go into the course, you may get things that just really you're supposed to know the concept, so you have a question on it. All right, so let's look at number 1. We go into number 1, and it says find the intercepts of the equation. Either it's this one, or the intercepts are and there's no y-intercepts, the intercepts are and there's no x, or there are none. Okay, so there's nothing down here right now, but if I click here and click for the answer box, then these little icons show up. Let me move this down a little bit, or up a little bit. Let's see, hold on. Okay, I think I fixed it where you can see these. So if I click there, these little icons will show up down here. So if you need a fraction, an exponent, a square root, ordered pair, and then if you hit more, you've got all these. When you may need matrices, you may need the infinity symbol, a lot of icons right here. So, and if I put something in, I'm just going to put some gibberish, and I'm going to do check answer, and it's going to give you a little hint. It's going to say it's not quite right, and maybe a suggestion of how to attack that. So we'll try that. We're going to check it again on your second try. No. Third time is your final check. We'll do that. It says, here's your correct answer. This is what you answered. Now at this point, you can skip and go on, come back later, or you could hit similar question, and now you've got a different equation, and you can do it again. So it's up to you whether you want to fix it then or go ahead. Now, if you get stuck on a homework question, the best way to get help that I would like you to do, if you click on Get More Help and Ask My Instructor, it's going to send me this email and give me your exact question, and I'll know it's from you, and you can type in here what you've done, what you're stuck on, that sort of thing. I can have the best information for me to look at and help you get through what your issue is. And you would hit send, and then I'll get that. So if it's a question in general about the course, you don't have to do it that way. You can just email me. But if it's about a particular homework question, this Get More Help is really what I would like you to do. So let's try and do that. All right, so let's get out of here. Okay, so that's where that was, and that was where your test would be as well. If you want to ever check your grades, you can hit the grade book here, and all of your grades will show up here. Your average will always be updated, and your overall average will be here. If it's a test that you're wanting to look at, come to the grade book. Don't go back to the assignment again, but click on here in the grade book to find out what you missed on the test and what the right answer should be. Then you can study more, go back to the homework test page and take it the second time, but you need to review it here. This tells you there are a total of 35, 36, 42 assignments total, and this bar will advance as you work in things. All right, so that's the grade book. If you need to see where you are, then you can check that. Now, it will figure in the higher of your two test grades. They'll both show, but it'll only count one of them. So let's go back to the front. Okay, I think that is going to give you the overview to get started. I'm here for you for what you need, and we'll be in contact throughout the semester. So I look forward to working with you.